My battery's kicked out, so I'm gonna just start off where I left off on this one. So I'm gonna talk about this book, which I don't like this style of drawing. Honestly, whenever cross-hatching is used, I think it looks cheap. But if you want to be able to draw like this, then maybe this is totally the book for you. I did find a few things in this book really useful. Oh, I didn't mark the page numbers. Well, he mentioned like first do a gesture drawing and then work in contouring. And then he pointed out on one page, which I thought was great, because when you're a little kid or whatever, the first time you try to draw, you draw what you know. You know the cup has a flat bottom, so you draw it flat and all that, right? But it doesn't actually end up looking right. When you draw it the way you know it should be in your brain, it doesn't look like a cup. So you have to train yourself to draw not what you know, but what you see. And a lot of the time, like if you say start drawing from a photograph, turn it upside down and it's going to work out a lot better for you. And he says to practice those drawings and then go to tone and then final detail after color, da da da. So anyway, I'll talk about that in a minute. So, I was going to show you, I put my cup on top of seed from green ash. It's a Samara, if you care. And for me, I can't tell if there's a seed in the bottom of my glass or underneath my glass unless I pull it up. I don't know. Everybody sees things a little bit differently, I think. You expect that everybody sees things exactly the way that you do. If you're human, you expect every other human looks at things and sees the same things that you do and thinks the same way that you do, but this is not the case. And as you age, you learn that it's more and more not the case. Anyway, I don't know if you can see that, this container of grapes is humongous, and I've been eating one of those every day. So they're yummy. And this bread is excellent. If you find this in the grocery store, 1 Degree Organic Foods, veganic. I thought that was cute. But the ingredients are really impressive. There's not very many, and they are food ingredients, so that's terrific. Now, to my surprise, I got this out of the library. I was hoping that it would show, like it's called Evolution of Goddess, so I was hoping to see some sort of, see this person put together, maybe in a timeline format or something, some way that goddesses have progressed to link, to show how different cultures of people may be moved through well, Asia, Europe especially, right? But that she did not do that. It has recommend by Carolyn Miss on the back, so you kind of know where this is coming from right away. And so it was a bit disappointing for me that way, because it wasn't what I'd hoped, but she does provide a lot of information about goddesses. And so if you're into learning that sort of thing, I took loads of notes, and most of my notes are kind of junky, but I was impressed anyway by how much she researched each little goddess. You know, she didn't only look at, say, Celtic goddesses, or Roman, or Greek. She looked at Inuit and Aztec, right? So that was interesting to me. And it's, you know, for me, when I read a book or I read anything, if the book makes me go, wow, I need to find more information on this, and it inspires me to actually look elsewhere, that it's done its job, as far as I'm concerned. If I'm actually, if it doesn't do any of that, then it's useless. But so I would actually recommend this book, Evolution of Goddess by Emma Milden. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff that she's getting you to work through to find your goddess. And apparently, if anyone cares, mine was moon, and then water was next in my choices. James seemed to be more of an air-sun combination, which was interesting. I thought for sure he'd be earth. I don't know why I thought that, but it didn't work out that way. Now this book, everyone needs to read it. I didn't even know I was interested in such things, really. You know, I mean, I love going to the ocean. Who doesn't? I love waterfalls. I love anything water. But Tides in the Ocean, excellent, by William Thompson. I especially like the maps. I think I bookmarked one to show you. Oh no, I took the bookmark off. The library had been putting a bunch of these bookmarks in to go to Word on the Street, and I guess I was supposed to fill my name and phone number in to get a prize for
Yeah.
I didn't. So I have like, I don't know, 50 of these bookmarks around.
Wow.
Because I read a lot, and they were putting them in every book that I brought home. And anyway, I thought I'd bookmarked so that I could show, but this is such an excellent book. It's just incredible. The maps that this guy has put in are very, very useful. And I'm not finding one that I... Oh dear. Oh, there's one that's a good one. I'll show you this one. Where are the world's bores? I didn't even know what a bore was until I read this. So, there you go.
Are there any crashing bores there?
What do you mean?
A crashing bore is like a really boring person.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, James is always doing these, so he knows language really well, so he plays with it with me. Anyway, but maps like this, very interesting. Yeah, you can. You can read this whole book because you will be interested in it. James loves maps. Just like my dad. My dad would have loved this book because these maps are really, like, he writes in a really easy to follow way. So he explains, I remember trying to learn this, and my dad actually tried to teach this to me when I was in grade 3. Was it grade 3? Yeah. He pulled me out of school and was homeschooling me. And he did a good job. My mother, on the other hand, was teaching me English by handing me her crossword puzzle books. Anyway, I got to spend some time with my family, which was nice. And my dad, once I got to grade 4, I was way ahead. So that was good. He did a great job. He was very interested in the natural world, science. Like, he could look at the sun and go, it's whatever time. Anywhere. You could be anywhere, he'd know. And he'd be dead on. He was great. He'd know all sorts of things about the natural world. And when he'd say something, well, can't you tell? You know, he'd get frustrated with me for not learning things that seemed obvious to him, right? So my sister didn't think he was a great teacher that way because, well, he'd kind of make you feel stupid. But I don't know. I ended up being really interested in learning, and so, I mean, he must have done something right. You know what I mean? Yeah. I appreciate what he did. Anyway, he was trying to teach me about how the moon and the solar day and all of, yeah. And I didn't understand that. And then I went to university and I was trying to, I took a weather course and I was trying to understand this, and I couldn't understand what the teacher was saying, honestly. And but this guy explained it perfectly. William Thompson, thank you very much for writing this book, because now I understand how it all works. And thanks to his maps, really he refers to those, right? He'll explain things in a really easy to follow way. And then he has the maps, so he's talking about the equinoxes and stuff like that. I took notes on page 4, 6, 8, 10, about 10 signs of ebbing and flooding tides. I found that interesting. And we went, my dad he took us to Bay of Fundy, and he thought I would be very interested in this because he was very interested in this. And I was like, but it looks ugly. I didn't understand, because for me it's like a waterfall. It looks beautiful, and then I appreciate nature, right? But for him it was more how nature works, the science behind it. That was beautiful for him, right? And James is a lot the same way too, right? He's more interested in things like that. For me, I thought it was hideous, and I was like, why did you take me here? But it's, first he should have had me read this book. And maybe I would have had more of an appreciation for it, because it's impressive. You gotta go there after reading the book, so that you don't look at it and go, it's just a bunch of mud. Anyway, and he talked about quicksand, and tells you how to avoid it, walk with a stick and bare feet, and how to get out of it if you happen to get into it. And he gives you the secrets to surviving a tsunami. Speed. And you have to have a plan. So if you're in a place where tsunamis occur, he recommends some maps, but he's like, you got to look for the signs, and you have to have had an escape plan ready before you even head out there. So you plan how you're going to get out fast, and you have a pack a rescue bag with you, which is good even if you're going hiking somewhere in the fall. Like, I love to hike in the fall, most of all. You might want to consider this rescue bag, right? Because a lot of the places you might be hiking in the fall, they're not going to be very populated in the fall, except maybe by bears. So, but I put the stacks of ketchup there if you're interested. So anyway, the rescue bag: water, snacks, warm clothes, waterproof matches, headlamp, solar charger for your phone. So it might be worth considering packing that in your backpack if you're going hiking where nobody is, and it's just you and your loved one or whatever, and you've made sure you've phoned your family to say, I'm hiking in da-da-da-da, or whatever, and when I expect to be back. So, anyway. Apparently tsunamis are infrequent in Australia because it sits in the middle of its own plate. Page 120. I had no idea until right now. Now I know it. Thanks to William Thompson, Tides and the Ocean.
It doesn't explain anything at all.
Not enough information for James. The west coast of South America has more tsunamis than the east coast. And 76% of tsunamis happen around the Pacific Ocean because it is so tectonically active. He talks about...
Oh, yeah, now that makes sense. You're talking about tsunamis, not tides.
Yeah.
Yep.
He talks about all that, so you read the book and you'll be pleased at how much you learn about how it all works. And he makes it fun and easy to follow. Even... You put this book on hold for your child in grade 3, and they will figure it out. Teach them to it this way. If you pulled them out of school like my dad did, tried to teach me all this stuff, read through this book with them first. Good nighttime stories. Whatever. 75 shark attacks per year, 50% on surfers, only 5 result in death. And he gives you like how you can avoid river mouths after rain, because that's their hunting territory. Don't wear a black wetsuit if you're a surfer because it makes you look like a seal. So they say striped patterns are better. Don't use white, yellow, silver surfboards. Use green or blue. Don't swim with dogs. They attract sharks. Anyway, I gave you a little bit of what I learned. But the most interesting stuff that I learned was about the solar day and the whole moon. Most of my notes were about that. Were about the how the moon affects the tides and whatever. Because I found that most interesting. But you might find other things in this book more interesting. So I very much encourage you to read it. So this was over the past couple days I've learned that. And I was going to say, now, I plan on eating this for breakfast and not this. But, you know, if I ended up eating that, and a lot of people, this is probably going to be your breakfast, a cup of tea and a little sweet tart thing. Well, if you think about it, it's not that... Now, this one is not... There was nothing natural about the ingredients in that, but I'm just using an example because that's the sweetest thing we have in the house right now. And so if you're going to eat a sweet little pie thing, maybe try to find one that has like some food ingredients in it. But what I'm trying to say is this is not unusual to have a meal and then have a sweet treat for dessert. People have done that for ages. And type 2 diabetes in children is a fairly new thing. And why? Because that's what you're eating for breakfast. You're spiking your insulin. And if you ate that after something like this, or this, then like the protein and the healthy fats would then, your insulin isn't going to spike like it would if you just, if I started the meal with this and ended with this, I would be worse off for it, my health, than if I started with this and ended with that. Get it? So it's not that people haven't, all of a sudden people are eating sweet treats and they've never eaten them before. Well, that's ridiculous, right? People have eaten sweet treats. It's better to eat a natural sweet treat, like say tub of grapes, right? Maybe not the whole tub like I've been eating, but that is way tastier than that. And if you're trying to work yourself off that, you might want to, but James doesn't like those psyllium things. But yeah, if you think about it, most people are eating candy for breakfast right away. It's sugar-coated cereal, or it's Pop-Tarts, or it's donuts, or it's that. And then they go through their whole day just boom, 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 roller coastering. They're on the sugar high, crash, and they need something to get back up the sugar high, and then crash, and they're just roller coastering. If you take a break from your caffeine, and so, because right away in the morning you're like, oh, I need caffeine, I need sugar. Take a break from that, and after a few days, you will feel more awake than if you just kept on that routine. That's not a healthy routine for breakfast. Tea, sweet thing, no. Or coffee, sweet thing. Anyway, I'm done talking, so that's enough. I'll show you the ingredients from this when I find them. Pretty good, eh?